You built the website, you made the flyers, you ran the Google ads or Facebook ads like the gurus tell you to do. You networked at church. You told your LinkedIn connections. You posted in Facebook groups. You prayed over it. You showed up consistently. You did everything everybody told you to do, and you still don't have clients. So now you're sitting here wondering if you heard from God correctly, and you're wondering if you're too old to start, wondering if maybe this was just a nice idea and it's not actually what you're meant to do or called to do. I need you to stop right there because the problem is not your calling. The problem is not your age. The problem is not your faith. The problem is that nobody told you that there's a difference between doing a lot and doing the right things. And today we're going to fix that right now. Hey, beautiful. Welcome to the Launch Your Coaching Ministry podcast. I am Monique Addison-Stinson. And listen, here's the truth. Corporate may have given you a title, but God gave you a calling. If you're a Christian woman over 40 who's ready to stop tying your worth to your job and step into your God-given ministry, then this is your space. I show you how to package your corporate skills into kingdom work and get paid for it. Listen, my mom taught me something very powerful. If I don't bet on myself, who will? Now I help women just like you stop making excuses and start making moves, turning your experience into the coaching ministry God's been preparing you for this whole time. So, are you ready to launch? Let's go, sis. So I want to start this video or audio, if you're listening, by saying something that I genuinely want you to receive. You are not lazy. You're not. You're not confused. You are not bad at business. And God did not give you a calling just to watch you fail at it. What happened to you and to me has a name. And researchers call it the high achievers paradox. And here's what it means in plain English. So you are a person who is wired to work hard, and working hard has always been how you got the results. In corporate, effort produced outcomes, right? So you put in the hours, you got the promotion. You stayed late, you got the recognition. The formula was simple: work hard, get rewarded. So when you felt called to start a coaching business, you did what you've always done. You worked hard. You built the things or all the things. You showed up. You tried everything, really. But the formula seemed to stop working. And that gap between how hard you're working and how little is happening, that is not a faith problem. It's not. What you're dealing with is a strategy problem. And I want you to sit with that for just a second because I know some of you have been in a full on spiritual crisis over something that is actually a systems issue, not a faith issue. You've been treating, I don't have clients, like it means God changed his mind about you or what you're called to do. It doesn't it doesn't mean that at all. It means that you've been doing what researchers call productivity theater. You've been performing the work of building a business without strategy that actually makes the business work. Ouch. I know. I did the same thing. And here's the thing about productivity theater. It feels like faithfulness. It feels like stewardship. It feels like you're doing your part. You're doing what you're supposed to do. But activity and progress, they're not the same. And until somebody tells you that directly, you'll keep running harder on a track that doesn't have an actual finish line. Let me describe something, and I want you to tell me in the comments if this sounds familiar. Okay. You wake up, and the first thing you think about is what am I going to post on social media today? Or you spend 2 hours writing something and you get 12 likes, maybe zero comments, maybe zero, not maybe zero inquiries, but no inquiries. So you tell yourself, you just need to be more consistent. I need to post more. I need to show up more. I need to be more visible because that's what all the gurus say. So you do it again tomorrow and the day after that. And 6 months later, you are burned out. You are exhausted. Your creative well is bone dry and you still don't have clients. That is actually called a content hamster wheel. And it is one of the most common traps I see Christian women fall into when they're launching an online coaching business. I fell into it myself. Here's why it happens. When you don't have a clear strategy for finding clients, your brain defaults to visibility because visibility feels like progress, right? Every post is a tiny action. Every story is a tiny action. And taking action, any action, temporarily relieves the anxiety of not having clients yet. So you keep taking actions that feel productive, but aren't actually moving you toward the thing that you need, which is clients. And research on this is very, very clear. Posting daily without a strategy creates what experts call shallow, forgettable content that leads to burnout rather than authority. So you're not building a platform, you're actually just staying busy and actually busy enough to not feel the fear. And listen, I'm not saying content doesn't matter. It does matter. But content without a client acquisition strategy is like building this beautiful storefront in the middle of a desert. It's gorgeous. She's cute, but nobody's coming. The women in your space who are signing clients, they're not necessarily posting more than you. They're just spending their time differently. They're doing what researchers call strategic relationship building and direct lead generation instead of broadcasting it to the void and hoping the algorithm delivers the right people. That's completely different activity. Okay, so I want to name something that I think specifically lives in the heart of Christian women over 40, especially if you came up in corporate. So we were taught that good work speaks for itself. Keep your head down. Do excellent work. Don't toot your own horn. Let your results do the talking. Be humble, be faithful, and eventually the right people will notice. And maybe they worked in corporate, sort of. Maybe you got passed over a few times, but eventually someone recognized what you brought to the table. Eventually. That belief followed you right into your coaching business. And so you think if you just build something good enough, the right clients will find their way to you. If you just post genuinely helpful content, the algorithm will deliver the right people to you. If you just pray and show up, God will fill your calendar with the right clients. And that belief has a name too. Researchers call it the Meritocracy Fallacy, and it is quietly killing coaching businesses every single day. So here's the truth. Great work does not speak for itself. It doesn't. Not in business, not in coaching. Excellent expertise combined with zero strategy for getting in front of the right people equals zero clients. But this is not a character flaw or a lack of faith. This is just not how client acquisition works. That is all. And here's what makes it worse for women specifically in our space. But church often reinforces this, right? So we've been taught that wanting to be seen is prideful, that promoting yourself is arrogant, that if God wants to use you, he'll make it happen without you having to ask for anything. But sis, God also said the harvest is plentiful and the workers are few. He didn't say sit quietly in your house and the harvest will find you. At some point, you got to pick up the sickle. And picking up the sickle in your coaching business means getting strategically visible to the specific people that you are called to serve. Not everyone, not the algorithm, not waiting for the algorithm, but the specific people that God called you to serve with a specific message. And that speaks directly to that specific problem they're actively trying to solve. That specificity is what converts visibility into clients, and vague messaging that could describe any coach on the internet. It teaches potential clients that you're interchangeable, that there is no particular reason to choose you over the next person. Your calling is not vague, your expertise is not generic, and your message shouldn't be either. Now, here's the part of this conversation that I think is the most important, because you might be sitting there thinking, if what I've been doing isn't working, why should I keep doing that? Well, that's a good question. And the answer is psychology. So there's something called the mere urgency effect. So it's the human tendency to prioritize tasks that feel urgent over tasks that are actually important. So posting on Instagram today feels urgent because you haven't posted in 3 days and you feel like you're falling behind. Reaching out to 10 specific women in your warm market or your warm network feels important but not urgent. So it keeps getting pushed till tomorrow. And there's another piece. It's called the Zygarnik effect, which basically it says that your brain's obsession with finishing things. So unfinished tasks create a mental tension. So you're drawn to the small, completable actions like write the post, design the graphic, update the website, because finishing them relieves this tension temporarily, even though they're not the actions that actually lead to clients. So here's what this means practically. So your to-do list might actually be working against you. It's full of small, visible, completable tasks. Your brain will keep choosing those over the harder, more important work of actually connecting with the people you're meant to serve. You've been working hard, genuinely, but you've been working hard on the wrong things. And that's a strategy problem. It's not a character problem. It's not a faith problem. It's not a sign that you're not meant for this. It's not. You just been working hard on the wrong things. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. One thing, not five things, okay? Not a whole strategy, just one reframe that I want it to sit in your spirit for this week, okay? Faithfulness is not the same as strategy. And I need you to hear me again. Faithfulness is not the same as a strategy, okay? You have been faithful. The website, the posts, the flyers, the networking, all of it. Faithful, right? Faithfulness. That was you doing what you need to do with what you had. And God honors that. But don't let anyone tell you that that season was wasted. It was not. But faithfulness without a strategy is like praying for a harvest while planting seeds in concrete. The intention is right, the effort is real, but the soil is wrong. So, what you need right now is not to hustle more or to post more. You need a clear answer to 3 questions. Who specifically am I trying to reach? What specific problem am I trying to solve for them? And what specific action do I want them to take? That is it. Those 3 questions, okay? The answer to those 3 questions will do more for your coaching business than you posting every single day on social media, okay? I promise you that. And here's what I know about you. You already have the expertise to answer those questions. You just haven't had anyone help you organize what you already know into something that actually works and that you can actually see works to solve those problems. Now, if you want to go a little deeper, I did create a free quiz. It's called What Type of Faith-Based Coach Are You Secretly Meant to Be? And it's for those who know they've been called to coach, but they're not quite sure what type of coach. Because before we talk about strategy, you need to know what you're building, right? What you're building that strategy around. So the quiz will tell you exactly what type of coach that God wired you to be and why your corporate background has been preparing you for it this whole time. Now, I will put a link to that in the description. I think I will always also add a link to join my newsletter. And if you're watching this on YouTube, that'll be in the description. If you're listening to the Launch Your Coaching Ministry podcast, the links will be in the show notes. Now, listen, you didn't land on this channel or this podcast by accident, and you didn't build 20 years of expertise just so you can stay stuck. So make sure you subscribe to this channel so that I can help you move forward. And also, if you're listening, you prefer to listen to podcasts, make sure that you follow and download the Launch Your Coaching Ministry podcast. Subscribe and follow. All right, beautiful. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you're sitting there thinking, okay, all right, I am so ready to stop talking about this and actually do something about it, then here's what I need you to do right now. Head on over to businesschurchlife.com. That's businesschurchlife, all one word.com. And that's where you'll find everything you'll need to turn that corporate experience into the coaching ministry that you've been called to build. Now, whether you're just getting started or you're ready to dive deep, I've got resources waiting for you that'll help you stop spinning your wheels and start making some real progress. And hey, if this episode hit you right in the feels, do me a favor, leave me a quick rating and a review, then share it with another woman who needs to hear this message. Those reviews help more women find us, and we're building a movement here that starts with women just like you who are brave enough to bet on themselves. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Until then, stop making excuses and start making moves.